My name's Ken Elliott, and I'm the director of The Mystery of Irma Vep by Charles Ludlam here at the Bay Street Theater. And I'm thrilled to be here. I did a show here over 20 years ago called Home Fires that moved to off-Broadway under the title Swing Time Canteen and ran for over a year off-Broadway and is done all over the place now. So I'm thrilled to be back here. So The Mystery of Irma Vep is really the pinnacle of Charles Ludlam's career. And Ludlam, of course, was one of the great avant-garde theater artists of the 20th century in New York. He pioneered a style of theater known as theater of the ridiculous. And it was a very unique and interesting style which really took elements of all kinds of culture, high culture and low culture, and put them into a blender, turned on the blender, and mashed them all together. So you would have in Irma Vep, for example, quotations from Ibsen, quotations from James Joyce, as well as quotations from cheesy Hollywood movies like The Wolfman. So this is what the play represents. It's a mashup of both high and low culture. And this is a style that Ludlam pioneered, and there is no play in this genre that does it better than The Mystery of Irma Vep, I think. Theater of the Ridiculous has been called by Stefan Brecht, who's Bertolt Brecht's son and a theater scholar, the original queer theater. This is theater that came out of the gay subculture in the early 1960s. Ludlam was not the first person to approach this type of theater. Various exponents of it include Jack Smith, and even Andy Warhol had a big influence on this type of theater in the 1960s. And it was a style of theater that incorporated camp, what you call camp. And camp's a very loaded term nowadays. Some people are rather dismissive of the whole idea of camp, but camp is a performance strategy that emerged from the gay world early in the 20th century. And it was shunned by a lot of gay activists in the late 60s, but Ludlam embraced it. Ludlam felt that camp was a kind of defiance. And so his plays resonate with this kind of history of the gay struggle, even if there's no reference to that in the play. And there really isn't much of it. There are a few references here and there, but there are no gay characters in this play. But the very fact that these two actors play both men and women, and they play lovers, and they switch roles constantly. It's this whole idea, the nature of identity, right? And embracing your identity rather than rejecting it. And so that's really what's behind, I think, Theater of the Ridiculous. And no one did it better than Ludlam. Ludlam took what was started in the early 60s and brought it to a kind of height that no one has ever equaled. Parody is really fun if you understand the references, but this play, The Mystery of Irma Vep, does not require you to understand all of the references. I did not, the funny thing about a lot of these references is I was unaware of some of them, and I've read the play many times. I've seen it a couple of times. Now I'm directing it, and we have just been learning in the last few days about, oh my goodness, this is a reference to Ibsen's Ghosts, or oh, this line is from James Joyce's Ulysses. This is a moment from Dial M for Murder. I mean, you discover this stuff along the way, and no one is going to recognize all of the references. If you are an extreme intellectual, you might have a field day with this, but you don't have to be to enjoy it. It's good fun. The interesting thing about Ludlam's career, he was primarily an avant-garde artist who worked in a downtown tradition. He was oppositional to mainstream theater, and yet this play became a major mainstream hit. This play was a success with audiences of all kinds, and it's been done in major regional theaters across the country. So this is a play that has its roots in the avant-garde, but appeals to everyone.